Dubbed the King of Pop, 13 Grammys, 86 Billboard Awards, and 13 number one singles on the Billboard 100, but Micheal Jackson still cannot escape addiction. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. I'm 7 Day. This is the 7 Day Theory Podcast. Hit that notification bell. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
You tuned in to the 7 Day Theory. Hard body, hard spirit.
What up, y'all? You tuned in to the 7 Day Theory. Hard body, hard spirit. Check this. Micheal Jackson, the icon, the king of pop, the gloved one, the greatest artist to ever live, in my opinion. One of the greatest artists to ever live. But yet, he could still not escape addiction. All the money in the world, all the fame, all the fortune, you still can't escape your spirit. You can't escape your mind. Newsflash, spoiler alert, you heard it here first. Money, power, fame cannot buy a happy life. It just can't. It can make you happy momentarily. You can buy some things that might make you feel good for a second, two, a minute, a day, a week, an hour. But it'll pass. And after that's gone, you're going to need the next thing and the next thing and so on and so forth. To be truly happy, to really face your demons. To be truly happy, you got to face your demons. First of all, let's start there. You got to face your demons to be truly happy, right? You got to face them without fear. And you got to keep your foot on their neck after they're defeated. So every day it's a battle. Every day it's a struggle. I'm 7 Day, the 7 Day Theory Podcast. I'm a recovering addict. I got 4 months clean. The longest I had clean was 13 months. Just last year. I relapsed, then now I got 4 months on the first. Every first of the month is a new month that I got clean. On January 1st, I had 4 months. So, I know Micheal Jackson struggled with specifically opiates, because that was my deal. That was my drug of choice, specifically opiates. And that's what Micheal Jackson was hooked on, as well as sedatives. Propofol is what killed him, and other sedatives. But in 1984, if y'all don't know, Micheal Jackson, he was shooting a Pepsi commercial. His hair, they did pyro. It was a mock concert. They had pyrotechnics going in the back of him when he was performing. One of the pyrotechnics caught his hair on fire. Had severe burns, 3rd-degree burns. Had to get reconstructive surgery. Had tremendous pain. That's what kicked off and started his opiate addiction. After that incident, he was prescribed opiates. He was prescribed pain pills. He went from taking them as prescribed to taking one. You start taking one. First you take one every hour, every 4 hours. Then you taking them as prescribed. Then you taking extra on Wednesday. Next thing you know, next week you taking extra on Wednesday and Thursday. Then the next week after that, you taking extras on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so on. It just keeps going till you find yourself asking yourself the question, like, hold on, wait a minute, I can't stop doing this. I gotta have this stuff. And when I'm running out, so now I'm calling people, I'm looking on the streets to find somebody who knows how to get more of these things that I got from a doctor. This is how these things happen when someone gets addicted to drugs. And a lot of people, just like Micheal Jackson did, prescribed opiates. But the difference between a normal person with a normal functioning brain getting prescribed pills, opiates, and an addict getting prescribed pills, opiates, are two different things. You taking opiates, if you're not an addict, you can take opiates and you'll be able to take them just fine. Take them as prescribed, won't get addicted to them. But if you're an addict, if you're born an addict like myself, and you get prescribed certain medications, or you get a certain medication that triggers that addictive brain, that triggers your addict inside you, it's all over from there. And that's what happened to Micheal Jackson. 1984, he got prescribed pain opiate pills for his burns. Had to have reconstructive surgery. Ever since then, he was addicted to drugs ever since. And he was open about his struggles with addiction. In a few interviews, he talked about going out of the country and going to rehabs. He would go to these rehabs, he would get help, he would go through 12 steps, but then weeks, months later, he would be right back. At some point in his career, he got introduced or found propofol, the thing that actually took him off this earth. It's crazy what money and fame can do. He definitely used, just like he manipulate. Addicts are some of the most manipulative people to ever walk this earth. And I'm speaking from firsthand knowledge. I manipulated everybody in my life in active addiction. Everybody. Some way, somehow, I would try to manipulate somebody to either give me money or give me something that I could use or sell to get more drugs. This is what we do. Addicts are some of the most ingenuitive thinkers. Like we'll think of if there's a will, there's a way. We'll think if we need to get some money or get something, we will think of a way to do it. We will literally make something out of nothing, right? This is what addicts do. And Micheal Jackson used his power, his fame, his money to fuel and feed his addiction, which most addicts would do in that situation. He uses power and money to pay doctors off. The doctor that actually went to jail for his murder, he hired him, and he would be at his house. He would administer him through an IV propofol to help put him to sleep. And he was insomniac. He couldn't sleep well, so at some point in his career, he found propofol, and that's a very, very strong anesthetic or something that knocks you out during surgeries, right? Very strong. He was taking this just to go to sleep. And when you're on opiates, you can't sleep. So not while you're using them, while you're withdrawing. And a lot of people said that was around him, and even in the documentary they did, This Is It, that movie, the documentary that they did about Micheal Jackson. When you're withdrawing, you get cold. He had coats on when it was summertime. He had these jackets on when he was performing, when he was practicing for his upcoming tour that he was going to do, the This Is It tour. It's going to be his last tour ever. You could see signs of withdrawal. And I don't know why he was withdrawing, because he had the money. Well, he supposedly had the money to get his drug of choice. But maybe, I know he went to a doctor almost every day and got prescribed opiates, Oxycontin to be specific. So maybe there was times where he couldn't get them, and he was exhibiting signs of withdrawals, of opiate withdrawals, sweating, cold. You get hot, cold chill. You get really cold all the time. No matter if it's 100 degrees, you'll be cold because that's just a symptom of withdrawal from opiates. It's one of them where you most likely won't pass away from opiate withdrawal, but you feel like you're gonna die. It's almost like having the worst flu ever, and not only is it just physical, it's mental as well. So as soon as you wake up, if you're in withdrawal, you're instantly in depression mode. Instantly your brain is in depression as soon as you wake up. I know I got up. There was a whole bunch of days I got up. As soon as I woke up, I was mad. I was mad for waking up because I did not want to be up, because I was depressed. I was sick. I was sick physically. I was sick mentally. So I did not want to wake up. I wanted to sleep as long as I could. And when you're withdrawing, it's hard to go to sleep. You really can't go to sleep when you're withdrawing. It's very, very hard. I mean, like, I'm talking about, like, you have restless leg syndrome when you're in withdrawals from opiates. You can't stop moving. You try to lay down, you can never get comfortable. That was one of the hardest things to go through, was the uncomfortability and the anxiety of my legs not holding still. Me being so tired that I want to go to sleep. I literally want to go to sleep, and I couldn't. I could not, and it's frustrating as hell, because you'll try to sleep, you'll try to lay down, and you'll be tossing, turning, jerking, legs shaking. It's horrible. It's like pretty much how they how they show it in a lot of movies in Hollywood, that's really how it be for opiate withdrawals. And Michael Jackson probably was having withdrawals from either the propofol he was taking or the opiates he was taking, or maybe both, because he really couldn't sleep at night. He literally, the doctor, he was literally begging the doctor, because the doctor at first didn't want to give him a whole bunch of propofol because he had gave him other sedatives that wasn't working. And he didn't want to get. He literally was begging and like crying because he wanted to go to sleep and he couldn't. And he said, please give me. He would say, give me milk. That's what he called the propofol, milk, because it has a white color and it's liquid. And he would have an IV hooked to him, and he would administer it to him that way. And that's what killed him. That's like literally Michael Jackson's money and his fame killed him. Because if he wasn't Michael Jackson, if he didn't have all that money, you're not gonna be able to get a hold of a propofol. And that's the thing that took him out. Now, if you're addicted to opiates and you're using heroin, fentanyl, yeah, anytime you use fentanyl or even heroin, but fentanyl especially, that could be your last time. Any uses of it's so powerful, it's so strong, it's horse tranquilizer. And then they have carfentanil, which is elephant tranquilizer. So these are things that knock beings that are twice, 3 times our weight and our size. It knocks them out, and we're taking it. Addicts are taking it, right? So anytime you use fentanyl, it can put you to sleep, and you might never wake up. And I've had that. I went through that experience probably over 8-9 times. I've overdosed. Probably like 6 where they had to wake me up with Narcan, and probably another 4 or 5 when I just so happened to wake up myself. Luckily. But if it wasn't for Narcan and stuff, Narcan is like a miracle drug. If it wasn't for that, this disease would take out a lot more of us. It already took out a lot of us. This disease would take out a lot more of us if it wasn't for Narcan. Narcan is literally a life-saving drug, life-saving medicine. Because I don't know how many times I overdosed where they had to hit me with a couple of them. So Michael Jackson, somehow he gets a hold and finds out about and starts taking propofol. And propofol is the thing that took Michael Jackson out. Now, growing up, and I didn't know nothing about Michael Jackson being addicted to drugs, even though it was I was younger in the 90s when he talked about like going to rehab and all that. So I did not know anything. I was born in 86. So I did not know anything about the King of Pops. Growing up, I literally wanted to be Michael Jackson. When that album Bad came out, I was probably like maybe 7, 8, 9. I was full blown Michael Jackson fan, number one fan. Moves, just wanted to dance just like him, copied his style, got hats like him. I wanted his hair was different than mine, so my hair didn't do what his hair looked like, but I wanted his type of hair. Everything Michael Jackson did, I wanted to do, I wanted to look like, I wanted to be like, right? And he has this effect to even my kids growing up. He was even past when this happened. My kid growing up, when he was little, he used to try to imitate and do all Michael's moves and loved Michael Jackson. It's hard not to love what Michael Jackson did. Like, his dance moves were 100% just unique. No one moved like him before or since. They were just original. The moonwalk, even though he wasn't the first to do the moonwalk, he's the first person I seen do the moonwalk. I think he got it off of like breakdancing and stuff like that. But people breakdancing in the street would moonwalk, and he got it from them. But he perfected it. He put it out to the masses. Made it mainstream. The One Glove. Now he is a controversial figure. He did have some controversial allegations against him. We're not going to get into that today, but I do know about him, right? But growing up, I did not know that Michael Jackson had any kind of drug addiction. It was when he died from this disease, and when he was murdered, I just learned that he was addicted to drugs, and at that time I was in full blown active addiction. So in a way, it helped me relate to him more, but I was also saddened because he was no longer here. This is my icon, a black icon at that. He resembled me as far as his skin tone, his complexion, right? I'm biracial, I'm black, but I'm half Greek and half black, and so like I looked up to him to the fullest. The king of pop sold more than any other male artist to date. He sold more records than any other male artist ever in history. His impact is worldwide, but he still, for all his success, all his money, his fame, his fortune, his gifts, you can see his gifts made him a fortune. The gifts that God gave him, his voice, his originality, his art, his interpretation of dance, all those was gifts from God, and he used them to get fame and fortune. But all that could not. You can't fight addiction with fame and fortune. You can't. It's a spiritual. Addiction is a spiritual battle. It is a spiritual and mental battle. Nothing material in this world is gonna save you from addiction, to conquer your demons. It's real. You really gotta do a lot of thinking, a lot of soul searching, and a lot of asking yourself, who am I? Right now in active addiction, who am I, and who do I want to be? And I definitely asked myself those questions. And when I came up with the answers, I was not who I wanted to be in active addiction. And the person I was, I didn't like. So, and I wanted to change. And I did change. And with the help of others around me, people that love me. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably still be using, or I'd be dead, to be honest. Because these people didn't give up on me. They still supported me. Whether it be from a distance or close up, they still supported me. So Micheal Jackson, I had no idea that he was addicted to drugs. So yes, I did relate to him, but I was definitely saddened when I found out that news. The fame and fortune was kind of allowed him to keep going with his addiction. Because look, in order for me to get clean, right, and for me to ask those questions, who am I and who do I want to be, or what am I and who I want to be, I had to face consequences. See, when nothing's wrong, when everything's going good, when when you can pay your bills, when you got a car. Micheal Jackson, he had anything he wanted on his beck and call. He had butlers, he had nannies, he had anything you can want in this world. Micheal Jackson had. It's hard to change when materially you have everything you want in this life. Your bills are paid. You're living in a mansion, and even people that's not living in, just say you live in a regular house. Your bills are paid. You got a job. You're working. You're not struggling financially. None of that. It's hard to change unless you face some type of consequences. For one, and Micheal Jackson did not face any of these consequences. His money and his fame kept him out of jail. His addiction, he didn't have to rob, steal, do any of these things that a lot of addicts have to do, like myself, to even be able to use, right, to get money to use. Because a lot of us can't hold a job. I know I held a job, but not all the time. There was a couple years where I was jobless, right? So you resort to doing desperate things in order to feed your addiction. Things I'm not proud of, but things that are just the hard truth of the situation. But Micheal Jackson didn't have to face those consequences. He didn't have to go to jail and sit in jail and sit in there in a dirty cell and have your freedom and your freedom and your contact with the outside world taken away, right? So it's hard to really make a real change. And it's crazy because he literally has a song called "Man in the Mirror" where he talks about changing his life and how he's gonna start with the man in the mirror. He has this song that motivated me to change, gave me motivation to change when I heard it, and listened to it in my later years. But he himself did not change, even though he has that's one of the greatest songs he ever made. But he himself did not take his own advice. It's almost like the person, you ever meet somebody that got all the right answers for anybody's situation, you come to them, they're going to tell you to do the A, B, C, and D, and if you do this, you'll get this and all this. But when it comes to their life, they're not taking their own advice. They're actually struggling. but they're telling people what to do. They know what to do, but they will not do what it is that they're telling other people to do. Right? We know these people. That's what Micheal Jackson was. He made some of the greatest songs ever. One of the greatest albums ever. Everybody wanted to be Micheal. Everybody wanted to work with Micheal. Micheal was just an icon, just a straight icon. He was different. He was mysterious. He didn't do a whole bunch of interviews. He had the Neverland Ranch. He was definitely eccentric. Had a chimp for a pet. Bubbles, y'all remember Bubbles? Yeah, had a chimp for a pet. All that, right? But that still does not. All that does not matter if your spirit is possessed by a drug. If you're a slave to a drug, nothing in the look. It's like when in a movie, right? You ever see those movies where somebody's possessed or they have a demon on them or something's haunting them, right? In these scary movies, and they get sick, but the sickness is due to this spirit, this demon spirit or whatever it is in the movie that's following them or that they're possessed by, and they get sick and they go to a hospital, and the hospital is trying to figure out what's wrong, and they can't figure it out. The person is still sick. They're even getting in worse condition, and they can't save them because it's not a spirit. It's not a physical danger. It's a spiritual danger. And that's what addiction is. While it can be a physical danger, obviously, because you could lose your life, the straight up battle with overcoming addiction is a spiritual and mental battle. Physical doctors cannot give you a pill or treat you, or give you some type of medication, and you're not addicted to drugs no more. Yeah, there ain't nothing like that. There's nothing like that. While they do have medication to help cravings and stuff like that, there is no magic pill that if you take it, you will no longer be addicted to drugs. It just don't exist. And it probably will never exist because it's a spiritual battle. And that's what Micheal Jackson was lacking in his life. The first of all, he was lacking, in order to change, he was lacking the consequences of using, right? Because he has all these people around him that do whatever he says. And though he did have family members that did stage interventions at times and talk to him at times about his addiction, it just wasn't enough. He just wasn't ready to change whenever they did talk to him, unfortunately. But he didn't have those consequences that a person like me had, like going to jail, like being homeless, which I did. All that, he didn't have none of that. So when you're rich, you're powerful, you can pay all your bills, your kids are good, all this stuff, you have a whole bunch of cars, a whole bunch of money in the bank, it's hard to actually change because your life is going good, right? From the outside looking in, and from your perspective, oh, my life, I can pay my bill, I can do all this stuff. My life is fine. What do I need to change? What I do drugs. So what I do drugs. So I can do drugs and still maintain my life. But see, and that's the way of thinking. That's what most addicts think, right? But when that gets taken away, or when you have a consequence happen to you that takes some of those things away, you start thinking, wait, hold on, what am I doing? Who am I really? What am I actually doing in this life? And that's the type of questions that I had to ask myself. Maybe Micheal asked himself some of those same questions. He just wasn't able to get over that hump and to continue to stay clean when he did have those, when he did go to rehabs and work the 12 steps and all that. He just wasn't able to maintain it. It's an everyday struggle. It's an everyday struggle. This disease affect. It doesn't care if you're Micheal Jackson. Don't care if you're the king of pop. King of pop who? This is literally a demon on you. This is a spiritual battle. A demon on you. They don't care if you're the king of pop. They don't care if you're Prince. They don't care if you're Amy Winehouse. They don't care if you're Micheal Jackson. They don't care if you're Juice WRLD. If you're Lil Peep. If you're and rest and RIP to everybody I'm naming. Mac Miller. They don't care if you're Mac Miller. If you're who was it that just recently, a rapper from Atlanta, just recently passed last year. Not 21. I forget his name, but yeah, he just passed. A rapper from Atlanta. They don't care how many people know your name and who knows you over the world and who idolizes you. This disease affects everybody the same way. You cannot buy your way out of addiction. You cannot fame your way out of addiction. You cannot clout your way out of addiction. You cannot buy anything that will get you out of addiction. You might be able to postpone it a little bit with some things, but to completely get rid of it, and that's what we need. We need to completely rid this out of our lives, or it's still going to affect our lives negatively. Addiction. If we don't do that, then we're not. It's not gonna. Nothing's gonna. It's gonna keep popping up. It's gonna keep. And it's like I said. It's an everyday struggle. It's an everyday battle. I gotta wake up every day and choose recovery. I gotta wake up every day and say to myself, I'm better than that. I'm a king. I don't need to disrespect my body by putting poison in it. I gotta wake up every day and tell myself, if I choose to use today, I could kill myself today. I could die today. Cause and really that's not even hyperbole. That's actually the literal truth. If I do use, there's a good possibility I could pass away from that usage because of my DOC, my drug of choice. I had no idea that so many, when I was younger, I had no money. I didn't know when Prince passed. I didn't know he had an addiction to drugs. Prince, what? How is the greatest too? And this is what I realized with a lot of entertainers, a lot of musicians and actors. A lot of them, unfortunately, are addicts or alcoholics. And really, that's really the case nationwide. It's really a reflection of the nation. Opiate epidemic is at an all-time high. There's more people addicted to drugs probably now more than ever. Either whether it's whatever drug. Drug use and drug addiction and alcohol use, alcohol addiction is rampant throughout the world, and especially in America. Because it's also pushed on us through media, through music, right? Through pop culture, drug usage and alcohol. I mean, you can't go nowhere without seeing an ad for alcohol. You can't watch TV without seeing an ad for alcohol. So it's pushed on us in everyday life. Man, I just think of that song, "Man in the Mirror." If you want to make a change, you got to start with you. And I wish every addict got to experience sobriety and how it feels and how different it is. It's not what you think it is when you're in active addiction. I wish Micheal, the king of pop, would have lived long enough to experience being sober for a long period of time, because it really is. My worst day sober is better than my best day using, hands down. I always say this. So I wish he would have got to experience it. It's sad that he's gone. Like I said, one of the greatest entertainers to ever live, to ever grace a microphone, a stage. I'm blessed that I got to see him in real time. Not personally, but on TV, and got to see everything that he did, all his body of work. One of the greatest, man. One of the great, if not the greatest. I mean, the king of pop. Come on now. This disease is real. It affects everybody. It doesn't matter. It don't matter your status. If you know an addict or you are an addict, don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep your head up and your eyes open. I always say this: do not give up. If you know an addict that's around you or you're related to one, don't give up on them. Make sure that their life is not taking you down with them. But definitely don't give up on them, because you never know what you might do or say that will lead to them changing or even wanting to change. If people would have gave up on me, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think of Micheal Jackson. Is the glove one? Is he the greatest to ever do it? I think he is. Definitely the king of pop. Y'all let me know in the comments. Did y'all even know before he passed? Did y'all know that he was a addict? Did y'all know that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what y'all think of Micheal. Are y'all a fan or you're not a fan? What's your favorite album? Mine's probably Thriller, then Bad, then Off the Wall. Yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. And if y'all know anybody that, or if you have a story, if you're an addict yourself, drop it in the comments. Let me know how you got clean, what you do, or if you know somebody that is an addict. Did you push them away, or do you try to help them? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. We got memberships now, $1.99 a month. Keep your head up and your eyes open. I'm out.